Well, clinical education is understood by the average law school or law teacher to mean moot courts, debates, court visits, some drafting exercises. Uh, this will, and perhaps even some internship. But that it doesn't make the skill learning complete. Therefore, one has to evolve new methods of clinical teaching for which some investment is required, some expertise of human resources to be able to organize and manage it is required. And that's why I suggested that lawyer incubation clinic. For example, if you today look at the nature of legal practice, you would find that it is not merely litigation, whether at the appellate level or at the trial level, but a whole lot of transactional practice or practice in terms of legal advice, business counseling, and doing a lot of documentation in preparation for investment, in trade, in business, in commerce. This sort of assisting the work to avoid disputes, or if disputes evolve, to find expeditious methods of resolving it, to let business go on as with accelerated growth. Now, that sort of a thing cannot be linked only with litigative practice. So, therefore, you find the uh, new legal practitioner has to have a choice between litigative practice as well as corporate transaction work. You find now many of the large business establishments have what they call in house counsel, who also do not go for litigative work. If and when they require litigation, they will brief litigating lawyers. But otherwise, they are supposed to advise the business client relating to investment, relating to transaction, transfer of technology, credit mobilization, a whole lot of consumer problems. Law has become so essential for any type of business, any type of economic activity that one would like to take up in modern times. So you have the in-house counsel, which is a third type of legal practice. Today we find that with globalization, a lot of legal practice is being done through online, what you call business outsourcing, legal process outsourcing, where the lawyer does some work of research and documentation for law officers of countries outside your own country. Transnational legal practice is evolving in the area after globalization. You have law reporting has become a major activity. Any newspaper or any other visual channels, you find a substantial part of the coverage is on legal developments, either in court or in parliament or outside. You therefore find academic lawyers is another, and lawyers for the administration, civil services, judicial services. So, if you were to look into the future legal practitioner, their career options are many and diverse, and they require different types of skill sets. The code of ethics also vary as compared to the practicing the litigating lawyer. Now, in order to address this changing legal market and the market demands, clinical education will have to decide by the time the students reach the third year of the 5 year program as to what is their career choice. Do you want to be a trial lawyer? Do you want to be a litigating lawyer on the original side in the High Court or the Supreme Court? Do you want to be a transaction lawyer in a corporate firm? Do you want to be an in-house counsel in industry? Do you want to be taking the judicial service examination or the civil service examination and be a bureaucrat or a judge? Or do you want to be a legal journalist? You want to be a politician or a parliamentarian? Look, you have a variety, or academia, teaching and research. You have a variety of career options. Now, this, if the student decides one or two of these sets, then it is the function of the law school, a professional school, to customize his skill learning in the 4th and 5th year, the semester starting from the 5th to the 10th, to prepare him for that career, both in terms of theory as well as in terms of skills, ethics, and attitudes. And that is where you have to have the lawyer incubation clinic, where customized, individualized attention and supervision through a lot of activities which are selected. Say, for example, in transaction work, you have to do a merger of two companies, or an acquisition, or competition law practice, or intellectual property practice, or medical law practice. You find that specialization has come in. So therefore, a different set of skills preparing you for that specialization. Suppose, for example, you want to practice in the Green Tribunal on environmental issues. Now, the domain knowledge that you require and the legal expertise and skills that you require are different from the other lawyer who is wanting to specialize in the capital market or in the competition commission. They have different set of domain knowledge, and therefore specialization is required and the skill sets vary. A third type of legal skills training that you require is where you want to bring in all these knowledges and skills to bear upon the solution of a single problem. I tell you about climate change, for example, or disaster management. What is the role of a lawyer in these types of national challenges or international challenges, if you mean? You need to bear upon international conventions and practices, the best practices in other jurisdictions. You need the knowledge about the science and the theory behind those things, as well as integrating these skills. So I suggest to you that in a clinical education program or skills training program, you have a set of skills which every lawyer requires. That I call the foundational skills, which include legal research, legal writing, communication skills, negotiating skills, etc. Then you have specialized knowledge for specialized legal practice before different forums outside the regular courts and tribunals. Then you require domain knowledge with special expertise of analysis of legal skills before the competition commission or the patent attorney or things like that. Then you have the comprehensive skills which require multiple interdisciplinarity and multiple sets of skills to be brought to bear through a cooperative endeavor for a single window service, which is, to my mind, a great challenge, which future law firms will be one in which only lawyers do not work, but lawyers will work along with accountants, with managers, with people competent in chemistry, in medicine, in automobile engineering. You need all types of knowledges to bear upon total problems which confront the society, for which you require legal responses. So therefore, when you talk about the future program of skills training, I would say that every professional college must first of all concentrate on foundational skills, which are, if I were to make a list of it, it will be more than 40-50 skills that every law graduate ought to have, whether he is going for litigation or whether he is going for transaction or any other legal work. And then there are specialized skills depending on you want to be a patent attorney. Okay. If that is the skill, you have to have certain domain knowledges of pharmaceutical, pharma patents, for example, and combining it with the procedure for patenting or defending a patent or opposing a patent, whatever. And then you have this comprehensive, which at present I don't think that we have law firms of that type. But we do have law firms which employ 100 attorneys, 200 attorneys, 300, and some of the largest law firms in India have as many as 800 attorneys working. So therefore, the legal profession is changing. The challenges that are thrown upon the lawyers to resolve are changing, and the technological impact, the globalization impact, the social changes impact, all these take into consideration, you have to make fundamental changes in legal education, professional education, which require large investment, which perhaps must be a joint endeavor of the private and the public sector. Government alone cannot do that, nor the private sector by itself. Well, some of the industrial houses have now set up law schools, and there is competition, and we are trying to excel within the country, and eventually you have to challenge the legal education obtaining in some of the developed countries, so that India can be a destination for legal education for the rest of the world. All this depends upon how you organize the skills training of the future lawyer.